Hi everyone, it's Cherie from Paper Pieces and Leftovers, and today we are going to do bear number 2 from MarjorieAnnDesigns.com called Charlie and Jojo Winter Delights. The reason I print these on 5x7 or 4x6s is so I can write down my measurements and my cardstock colors, only because I make multiples. You guys don't have to do that unless you guys are starting a project and then gonna pick it up later. But I've printed them for years. Some of them are discolored because they're so old. These are all ones that I've done or that I'm going to do. I have another stack over here. They're just kind of all over my desk. They have been. But I have an easel that's actually a cell phone charger. And it lights up if I plug it in, but I'm not going to do all that right now. It lights up so if I'm sitting here and it's a little bit darker and I want to see something a little more. So I used caramel for my bear and then oatmeal for the muzzle. You can also use latte. This color here, the darker color is mocha. And this again is oatmeal. My orange is apricot jam by Encore. My red is Cardinal, but you can use Vermilion by Encore. I use 2 different shades, which they're kind of hard to tell. The hat top is a little bit lighter than the brim. My hat top is going to be Sea Mist, and the brim is going to be Swimming Pool. Both are Encore colors. My stick to roast is Craft, but you can use Hazelnut by Encore. And I think that covers everything except my ear pads, which are Pink Champagne by Encore. The caramel and the oatmeal are both American Crafts. I imported this little guy in to Cricut Design Space at 9.25. I don't use the 2-inch wide head rule anymore. Too many people were getting it confused when doing YouTube videos. And in one of the videos, she said she imported everything at 2 inches, which it threw a lot of you guys off. I measure by height. If I'm doing a 12x12, I do 5 inches tall. That's the best rule of thumb, is go by the size of your paper. Because if you're doing a 6x6 or an 8x8, you're not going to want something that's 5 or 6 inches tall. I have a junk journal that I'm starting, and I made these guys 4.5 inches tall because it's only 8 inches. And I needed to ensure that I could get my picture in. And these little guys I made smaller because I wasn't happy with the 4.5 inches. That's just my husband and I. So you want to go by how tall your piece is for the project you're working on. Now that being said, let's get to gluing. I am going to turn my picture back around and put it up in front of me. If you want to take a screenshot of the colors, there you go. And the sizes are on the left. And that is the width, not the height. I let the height auto adjust. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I had my procedure done on my back. Well, not on my back. The device was on my back. It was a bladder pacemaker. As you guys know, I had a bladder lift last year. Those of you who didn't know. Lifting patients in childbirth. We'll just leave it at that. I did have it done. And I don't have any problems, except I feel like I gotta go all the time. And the bladder pacemaker sends little signals down to your bladder saying, okay, there's a little bit in there, but you don't have to go right now. I was actually sad when it got taken out because I'm back to feeling like I gotta go all the time. And it does inhibit, you know, wanting to scrapbook just because you're taking breaks all the time. I started with his ears instead of his feet. His legs are gonna go on a little bit different. The ears, it doesn't really matter. My hands are a little shaky today. There's a flatter part. I put that on the bottom. And I lined them up with the ear part, the ear pad ending right there. The best I can, but where they're pretty even. Your inking, you can use whatever inks you're comfortable with. I use a mixture of Tim Holtz Distress ink, Memento, and Hero Arts. As you guys know, I don't use Catherine Pooler anymore, and that is because it's not archival, which means over time it's going to fade. I did have some Franklin pieces that I inked years ago, and it doesn't look like they're inked. Here is my Hero Arts, and I get the ombre ones because I get 3 colors in one, and they're very inexpensive if you go to Hobby Lobby and you buy them on the week that the inks are 40% off. But you want to make sure that it says archival and fade resistant, and both of those do. And I just want to make sure that everybody has an idea of which inks to use. But let's keep moving on. And now we're going to glue his first leg down. And there is no right or wrong way. Use what you have. If you have Catherine Pooler, yes, go ahead. There's some colors that I'll sneak in and use, but I do end up mixing it with permanent refills. That way at least it won't fade completely. I just feel bad when the ink pads that I've mixed are done and dry, because I won't have any way to know how much I added and which colors I mixed with it. Because I even have Stampin' Up! Pads, and I've mixed them with other colors from Tim Holtz or Memento. And when I say re-inkers, let me get one so I can show you guys. And Lawn Fawn is another brand that I use. These are re-inkers. These are so you can re-ink your pads. But I add it to the ones that I'm using, and it makes really neat colors that are literally custom colors. And I'll never be able to duplicate them because I'm not going to rebuy a stamp pad to add ink to it. His tail goes on before his body. I want to point that out because I didn't do that on the last one, and I had to lift, well, I actually just cut off the tail on the base. I snipped it off and I glued it behind his body. That's a way that you can fix it if you've forgot to glue his tail on. And that's for any piece, not just this one. If you forget to put the tail on before the body, you just snip off the base and then you can glue the tail right behind the body and you're fine. So now that we got that on, one leg went behind, his body went on top. Now we're going to do the other leg. And I'm not sure how I want to position this yet because he is sitting. I think I'm going to pull because the way it is in the picture is this way. And I don't want it that far forward. I want it more mid-body just because his arm is going to align mid-body. I am using Barely Art Glue today, as that is the ink that the glue that I grabbed. I know that there are tons of glues. You just want to make sure that they're acid and lignin free and that they don't cause paper warping. If you're not sure if it's going to or not, grab 2 scrap pieces of cardstock, cover your cardstock with some glue, put it together and set it aside for a few hours and let it dry. If you notice the paper looks like waves, that means that you have paper curling or paper warping, depending on what you call it. And you don't want to use that because it's going to do it to your photos, your photo mats, anything that ink touches. You want to just kind of ensure that it's safe for paper. My neck has my hands shaking a little bit today. My bone folder, it's just a squeegee with a felt tip from Amazon. But the reason I'm doing this video also is I wanted to show you guys something. You guys always ask me about my alligator clips. And I found a lady on Amazon, nope, Etsy, not Amazon. And I've gone crazy. I'm actually going to order more of them. Just because I'm obsessed. These are the alligator clips. You can get simple ones, complex ones. I think these are $11, and then the plain ones are $9. And they are a little flexible, which does help because I do grab them really hard. But it's Angela B Creations on Etsy, and it's all one word. Angela, B as in boy, Creations. I did put the link on the photo of the 2 of them that are on my Facebook. these two, I did put the link to her site in the comments for you guys. But I know that I get a lot of questions on where I get my alligator clips, and these are 15, 20 years old. And they're just really, really hard to find this way. So I went on a mission and looked for them, and they're called credit card grabbers. I don't know who came up with that because that's not what I know them as. And I already forgot to glue that on. That's not good. That's what I get for being so excited. All right, so we are going to lift this some, and I am going to show you when I make a mistake, how I fix it. So since I did a whoopsie, I'm going to trim this down some. And that's so I don't have to finagle so much of it underneath the head. I trim off a portion of it. We're going to put some glue on there. I forgot to put this on before the head. And that's because I got sidetracked with making sure that I had everything ready for my video. Now how to get it on. So we're going to bend the body a little bit and slip that under. And that's it. So I have showed you guys how I fix my boo-boos, and there it is. We're going to glue his arm down before we glue the back part of the scarf down, because the scarf goes over the arm. And part of why I'm doing this file is so I can show you guys exactly what happens. So glue the arm down before you glue the scarf down, guys. Don't do what I just did. And maybe I should slow down a little bit, huh? Not be in such a hurry, but I wanted to cover everything, and I don't want to forget anything or have a 2-hour video drag out and take up anybody's time. I know a lot of you say you love spending time with me in my videos, but I just feel that you guys have important things to do as well. So if I can get these done fairly quickly, why not? So I grabbed everything and threw it on my desk, and I did pre-glue the hat. Sorry about that. So the hat has the base, and then it has the back part, the head part of the hat. You're going to glue that down, the pom-pom, and then the brim. It's 3 pieces for the hat. I pre-did my face, and now we get to glue this down. And I'm going to trim this as well because I should have did that, but I was trying to ensure that I could get it under my head before the head set down. And Barely Art Glue does give you a little bit more wiggle room, as you saw, than Art Glitter Glue. All right, so that's as under there as that's gonna get. But we were able to fix the whole boo-boo, and I'm okay with that. Let's glue his other arm behind his body. So when you do this, you're gonna glue this arm down, this little scarf tail down, and then the scarf neck part, and then his head. Don't do what I did. Just don't do it. I can't believe I did that, but accidents happen, and I'm glad that it happened so I could show you guys how to fix it. And if you make it that way, then you know the order to do it in as well. I'm just putting a very minute amount on. That way it has a little bit of support. The stick, I wanted to have support so it doesn't lift. And the last piece that goes on is his head. Now afterwards I'll go in and ink and chalk with my dry chalk and detail. And I use pan pastel. I learned about these from somebody long, long ago in a video. I want to say Connie, but I'm not absolutely sure. Somebody was using the white, and I was like, where did that come from? Because that is so vibrant. And I messaged or commented on her video, and this was a few years back. And she's like, oh, that's pan pastel because it was open this way, and I didn't see the lid, so I didn't know the name. And I get these on Amazon. You only need one. Don't order 4, 5, or 6 like I did. I've had this one for years and I barely touched it. It's still full. And same thing with my black. I actually, when I got it, it was broken, so I had to pack it down with alcohol. So he is together, and he went together even with the boo-boos fairly quick. and simple. If you watch the video in entirety, you'll know what not to do, because I do work a little quicker than you guys when you guys are grabbing everything. So just back up, and you're going to glue the first leg down, his tail, the body, his top leg down, and then his arm, your sweater tail, your sweater neck, and then the head. That way there is no boo-boos. And don't glue the whole arm down, so that way you can slide the stick under the arm. When I do arms, I glue halfway. That way whatever they're holding, I just slide right under. And then I put a dot, I lift the arm up, put a dot of glue under it, and then hold it down and it sets. But that's it for that piece, guys. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Sorry that I got out of order with those. I always forget with the scarf, and it was my fault for not looking at the picture as I was going. But you saw how to fix it if you made the same mistake, or if you make the same mistake. There are sometimes instances that you can save your pieces. I'm doing well now that my device is out. I do have a couple videos that I need to go in and edit for you guys, because not all of them are in real time like this one. I'm going to leave this one alone instead of do the video editing, just because I did screw up and I don't want anybody to figure that out later. I'd rather have you guys make the mistake with me, or watch me make the mistake and not repeat my mistake, than watch the video with me doing a voiceover and not doing it correctly. But I hope that this hint helps you guys with writing your sizing on the back, or you can write it on the front. That was the other option. And just 2, 3, 4, and I put them by bare number. So this is bare number 2 when you import it. That's why it says number 2 and then my width. But it's up to you guys how you want to do it. And you can write the name of it on the front. I just write it on the back since I'm already writing on the back of it. But last thing is for the glitter on the fire. You could use Wink Stella or Aqua Shimmer, and I used Aqua Shimmer, which I have, they're by Nuvo. I have a couple of these, and I do have some of the Wink of Stella as well. That's where the glitter effect comes on, and it just makes it look a little bit more realistic, but you can do as you want. I did go around my marshmallow with peanut brittle by Memento instead of my regular blue, just to give it, you know, the little cooked look to it. But thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you later. Take care.